Hey, everybody, I'm Scott Weichel. You're listening to My Kind of Country. Thanks so much for joining us on a Monday night. My guest tonight has got a brand new single out, and we're going to talk about that tonight and lots of great things happening in his career. And it's a pleasure to have him on the show tonight, all the way from Kentucky. This is Kevin Fullen. Kevin, how are you tonight?
Hey, Scott, I'm doing great, man. How are you guys doing?
Just great. So nice to have you on the show. Thanks for taking time.
I appreciate you having me. I'm glad you had time to fit me in. That's perfect.
Well, it's my honor. Anybody that's recording great country music like you are, I want them on the show. There's no doubt about that.
We're sure trying. I've got a lot of good songwriters getting stuff to me, so I just go through Kurt Ryle's album of songs and pick. Basically, it's easy. He does all the hard work, and I just pick them.
That's wonderful. What a great guy and a great songwriter, a great singer, producer. He does it all, man.
Yeah, he does. He does, and it's a wonder that the man doesn't go stir crazy because he's in a million directions, and it's really hard to tie him down and get some some personal time with him sometimes, but he always makes it work.
Well, speaking of Kurt Ryle, he and Chuck Cusimano co-wrote your newest single. Tell me about Angels and Roses.
They did. We were looking for. I seem to tend to get a lot of airplay in the Texas area, in that state and in Oklahoma. I wanted to do something kind of along the line of some Texas music, dancehall music, or Texas swing, something like that. And I think when I talked to you once before, I told you, you can't fake Texas swing. It's either in your blood or it's not. I like a lot of it, but it's not something that is just a natural flow for me. So I wanted to find something, and Chuck had sent me, 25, 30 songs, and Kurt had sent me a couple, and then Kurt said, you know what? Chuck and I wrote one a few years ago. We finished it online. They just kept emailing back and forth to each other different lines and lyrics. Mm-hmm. And then Kurt actually had gone and put music to it, but never even sent it to Chuck. They just kind of lost touch with the song and forgot about it. And so when I was telling him about it, I said, well, can I call Chuck and talk to him? He said, absolutely. So I called Chuck. So I was like, I remember that, but I don't believe I ever heard the finished product. So when they premiered it a couple of weeks ago on Billy Bo's station, that was the first time that Chuck had actually heard it.
Oh, wow.
And it's more of a Texas shuffle, what they're telling me, than anything. But it does have the twin fiddles in it and the upright bass. But yeah, that's kind of how it started. That's how I got a hold of it, and hopefully we can get some more. My wheelhouse is and my comfort zone is kind of in that mid 70s to 90 range. But I just prefer the artists and stuff and the sound from back then. It's just what I grew up on. I'll be 60 years old here before too long, and that's just riding around with Dad, listening to 8-track tapes and going through the West Virginia mountains and that kind of stuff. Listening to 8-track with Porter and Dolly and Conway and Loretta and all the guys that were out at that time, and that's just kind of where my influence came from. And then I mentioned the duets and stuff. Each one of them obviously carved their own niche as an individual artist on their own. They just kind of got together during different times there. But Conway Twitty was I really like a lot of really was big on his stuff, and obviously Keith Whitley. I think everybody's a Keith Whitley fan, and I actually got to meet him when I was in high school when he was still doing bluegrass.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, with Ricky Skaggs. Lived up in Ohio at this time, and one of the classes we had was an elective, was a bluegrass folklore class. The instructor or the teacher, whatever you want to call the guy, was just really efficient in any of the instruments from up in the hills and the washboard and dobro, everything that they did in bluegrass and stuff. This guy was really, really good at, and he took us. We went on a field trip, and they came and done an afternoon 4 or 5 song thing with the band, and I know Ricky Skaggs and his brother Hobart Skaggs, and Keith Whitley and his brother were all there. But yeah, it was just really, really neat. And they came in for 20, 25 minutes, and then we went on about our little. And he took us around to some different little places in that area. And forgive me, I don't recall the name of the town, but it was Shady Hollow or something, just a little bitty hick town up in the hills of Kentucky where those guys were all from. So it was really neat that as time went on, both those guys kind of went their own way and did their own thing. Ricky Skaggs and obviously he kept his brother Hobart and cousins and stuff with him for a long time. But then obviously Keith Whitley, and then we're going to pass it in '89.
Well, let's take a little break here and play Angels and Roses. This is the brand new
All right.
single from Kevin Fullen. And Kevin, do you have a website?
Kevin Fullen Music on Facebook right now. The other one that we had, something happened with the domain, and Dina Woods and them are trying to get that rebuilt up.
Okay, well, we'll send everybody over to your Facebook page, and we'll put that link on our Facebook page for My Kind of Country, so you can check out more of Kevin's music there. And
Awesome.
all thanks to Dina Wood for getting this great music out to us. Here is Angels and Roses, and we'll come back and talk to Kevin some more about his career as we continue with My Kind of Country.
Certain sounds and certain smells stir memories from long ago. From love's gone wrong to loves that last, and some that don't grow old. Sweetheart, I find you come to mind when roses bloom in spring, or when I hear twin fiddles here, I hear angels sing. Angels and roses, take me back to yesterday. I just picked the brightest rose and laid it on an angel's grave. I call your name through the tears, and I feel you next to me. Angels and roses, and a million memories. I recall your favorite roses were burgundy like wine. Without you, I'm like withered fruit on a dying vine. With the needle on the vinyl, twin fiddles softly play. I close my eyes and there you are, one slow dance away. Angels and roses, take me back to yesterday. I just picked the brightest rose and laid it on an angel's grave. I call your name through the tears, and I feel you next to me. Angels and roses, and a million memories. Angels and roses, and a million memories.
All right, that's Kevin Fullen, brand new music, Angels and Roses. Man, that is a great song, Kevin. They really put that in your lap, and it was just a perfect blend.
Yeah, I really appreciated it. I think it's going to work out pretty well for both sides. We get, especially with Chuck being surprised by the finished product of it, and Kurt pushing the buttons and moving the levers like he does. It took a while to record. There's some high parts in there that I'm not used to getting to, but if anybody's ever been in a studio with Kurt, they know if he wants you where at a certain spot, you'll get there.
Yeah.
He'll make you get there, and he does. I don't know how, but he does. So it turned out pretty well. I like it, and hopefully the listeners out there will enjoy it too. If not, we'll keep putting them out there too. Find something you do like.
There you go. Well, a couple songs I do like, and I wanted to talk about this one. You mentioned Texas earlier, and your song "Until We Meet Again" won the 2020 Academy of Western Artists Song of the Year for 2020. That is really something else.
I appreciate that. Yeah, that was a big surprise. My wife and I had decided to take a break. We're in Gulf Shores on vacation, and Dave DeSalza, forgive me if I say it wrong, DJ in Australia, he sent me a instant message on Facebook and said congratulations. And I was like, okay, for what? he was doing live award shows. Everything was online and streaming and everything at that time. And he told me, so it was like 2 o'clock in the morning when I found out. And so I was sitting out on the balcony, and he gave me the link, and I went over to the link for it and listened to it all the way through, and I was just blown away. So, but that's my first big award. I've had some smaller stuff, different contests and stuff like that, but that was the first major award. So that was I owe all that to Billy for getting it out there, and Dina for pushing it, and then the listeners. You know, a lot of them were voted on by the fans, and a lot of them were voted on by just strangers and stuff like that. But when you get one that's voted on by board members and DJs and stuff like that, those are the ones that I think mean the most.
You bet. There's a lot of great DJs out there that are playing real country music. I know we've got a mutual friend in H.D. Ainsworth, and then Bobby Mackey up there.
Louisiana, yes, sir.
Yeah. One other song I wanted to talk to you about. You and I had a chance to visit the other day before we did this interview, and you have recorded a song that Freddie Hart co-wrote with Roger Bowling, and it's called When the Feeling's Good.
When the Feeling's Good.
Yeah, tell me about that.
Mike Lunsford is an artist actually out of Oklahoma, and I forgive me for not knowing how he actually ended up in the Louisville, Kentucky area, but we had some pretty big honky-tonks, I guess you could call them at that time, and he was, I worked at a pizza place in the summertime. My mother worked there and ran it during the day, and these guys played at a place behind us called Lemon Tree, and he was the 5-night-a-week guy there, and they would come in after the show or before the show, and so we kind of were acquaintances, just me being a young teenager, I guess. Then I went to work, after I got older, I went to work as work security at a place called Coyotes, which was a huge dance hall type place here, and they came in and played on a Sunday night, and we got to talking, and he had me come up, and he said, you need to come up and do a Keith Whitley song with me. And at that time, I was just starting to get out there and try to find songs to record, and at that time, you didn't have all of the internet stuff, so you were relying on phone calls and word of mouth and that type of thing. So I got up there and we did a Keith Whitley song, and every time I would see him anywhere for the next 7 or 8 years, he would always make the point on break or whatever to come down and talk to me, and always have me come up and sing a song with him. Well, While the Feeling's Good song was one that he had recorded, and I know I don't think he released it, nationwide, but I know he released it regionally, and I believe it was a top 20 hit for him regionally. But it was just one of those songs that was just the perfect sound to it, the perfect instrumentation, and then his vocals and stuff on it was just my favorite song of his. And he had lots, but that was one of my favorite ones. And I'd always told him, hey, if I ever get anywhere with this, I would love the opportunity to record that song with your permission. And so that's kind of how it started. And then he passed away, and I went through a divorce and started working a new job, and with my work schedule and everything, I just kind of put all of the music stuff on the background, on the back burner for pretty much for 25 years. Mm-hmm. And then I started back up again about 5 years ago, 6 years ago, something like that, when I started trying to I wanted to get the rights to do the song legally before I done anything. And I kept waiting and waiting. Finally, we had an opportunity. We had a band come in, went down to Nashville, and recorded it. And then I just held on to it for like a year and a half. And then I finally everything ends up in archives, I'm sure you know, after a certain amount of time, they end up in the repertoire or whatever it's called. And I finally got it, got permission to do it. Then we finally put it out there. But to this day, it's still one of my favorite. I didn't do it the justice that he did it, but I did the best that I could do on it. But that's one of my favorite songs.
Freddie recorded a version of it himself, and Kenny Rogers had it on an album too. It's a great song.
Yeah, Kenny Rogers and Wayne Newton recorded it, and there was a few others.
Tell me what's coming up for you. I know you're heading to Nashville here pretty shortly to work on some stuff. Tell me what's happening this summer for you.
Actually, tomorrow morning we're going down to Kurt's Place in Clarksville to the Creative Sounds. Going down there and doing video for Angels and Roses. Hopefully there'll be enough time we'll be able to do another video for the Veterans Inc. album that they done, and they're redoing one of the songs on it, Veterans Prayer. That's going to complete everything for the album, for the first album. Then hopefully, I know they've got a lot of stuff going on with the label. Mini tour stuff will be set up, and I know they've got a venue now that they're going to be able to take advantage of. So I would imagine by fall it's going to be just full steam ahead. you guys will be getting to hear and see a lot more of me, like it or not. Our label and the creative sound people, Kurt, all of us, we owe a huge debt of gratitude to yourself and people like you that do what you do for us. Without you guys playing it, I tell you what, you guys have the Nashville people on the edge of their seat trying to figure out what to do. And I know you know I'm right. They don't know how to compete and how to deal with this everything being online and streaming, and these artists are fighting back against them now. And traditional country, thanks to the guys like you that are spinning it, the people out there that are listening, which I thank all of you. It's coming around, and it's coming around a lot quicker now than it was 5 years ago. There's some guys out there paving the way, and it's bringing every one of us right along with it, and I'm super excited.
Well, it's been a pleasure having you on the show, Kevin. I appreciate it so much. We're going to play some more of your music, and as I said, keep us posted on the goings on as you get down the line. And we'd love to have you back anytime. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you having me, and I'll come back anytime you need me, sir.
All right.
I think I saw you smile at me, sitting in your favorite chair. And it's obvious to everyone but me that you're not really there. You left without a warning, and you never said goodbye. You're at the door, you're on the phone, but there's no one on the line. So I guess I'll just pretend until we meet again. So I rearrange your pictures, kiss them each good morning and good night. And it's hard to fill this empty room. I guess I'm just doing time. He took you for a reason, and I try to understand, but for me there's just the loneliness of a broken-hearted man, and this heart will never mend, no, until we meet again. Until we meet again, I'll be counting every day till we're together. And when I finally close my eyes, I know that I'll be holding you forever. From the solitary moment that we met, you were all I ever knew. And how I wish to God that you were here and I was lying next to you. He took you for a reason, and I try to understand, but for me there's just this loneliness of a broken-hearted man, and this heart will never mend, no, until we meet again. Until we meet again. Until we meet again. Take your gown out of the closet, put it on, that's why I bought it. Come stand in front of me and let me see. Take the warm smile that you're wearing, place it on these lips that's burning, to share the fire you built inside of me. Turn the light down in the bedroom, pull the sheet down from the pillow. When we're like this, love's easy understood. Let's walk through this house we live in, to the room we always love in, and let's love each other while the feeling's good. With all my will, I promise, with all of me, I'll love you. This feeling that I've got just grows and grows. I can't stop this wanting you, and I can't stop my needing you, no more than I can stop the wind that blows. I'll hold on to your sweet loving, long as we both have this feeling. I'll love you every way I know is good. But let's walk through this house we live in, to the room we always love in, and let's love each other while the feeling's good. While the feeling's good, let's keep it going. While the love is good, let's keep it growing. So let's walk through this house